Everyone, it's September 9th. Alright. Wow, this is an old problem. I've done this many times. But I think I'll still struggle a little bit, but we'll see. So this is best time to sell and buy stock. So we use a state machine for this. That's all I remember at the moment. Let's see. We give an integer array, yes. Price as static state, yes. We make complete at most k transactions. Okay, so this is the at most k transactions. You may not engage in multiple transactions simultaneously. Yeah, for sure. So buy, sell on day 2. Oof. Let's see if I still remember the state machine. So there's no hold, right? So we just buy and sell. It's just buy and sell. And we can do at most k times. How do we do this? Alright, state machine. Let's see. I will do that. State machine, we have a buy and then we have a sell, right? So just so for a buy, after you buy, you can do sell, or you can do nothing. After sell, you can go buy, or you can do nothing, right? That state machine is quite simple. And how do we handle at most k transactions? At most k transactions. Huh. Hold on, I need to get into the mindset of the state machine. So I'm an initial condition is what? Initial condition is like it's in the buy, right? And we cannot sell, so initially we can buy. So we either buy or we don't buy, right? And then we can choose to sell. So we have the B is, oh wait, hold on. The state is not buy and sell. The state is hold. Wait, what's the state? What's the state? So when you sell, you get a state of empty, or a state of E. And then you buy, you go to the state of hold. Right? When you hold it, you hold the stock. Either empty, you don't have the stock, or you hold the stock. And then when you're in the empty state, you can buy, or you can do nothing. Or in the hold state, you can sell, or you do nothing. So initially, we have the empty state and the holding state, right? So after 1 day, your new empty state shall equal to the maximum of either I don't do anything, so it's still E, or I will sell, so E minus whatever the price, right? And your holding state, with a maximum of not doing anything, or you sell, which is plus P. So that's kind of the relationship. And the starting position, I think the empty state. So we're talking about the profit, right? Profit. So at the beginning, the profit of holding state, I think is 0. And the profit of empty state is minus infinity. And then we just go through this, and eventually we will find the maximum. I mean, at the end, it has to be the empty state. And we can take the maximum of the 2, that doesn't matter. But how do we handle the 2? We handle the maximum amount of time. So that's like 2 transactions, right? Hold on. So we either do it once or do it twice. Hold on. Yeah, that's 1 transaction. That's 2 transactions. No, hold on. No, that's considered a 1 transaction, right? Man, I forgot how this is done. What is considered a 1 transaction? I don't remember. I need to look at. I mean, I've done this one so many times, but I forgot how the state machine works. Now, what is this problem? This is you can hold at most 1 sheet at any time. Oh, this is hold at most 1 share. That's different, but we can take a look. Yeah, this is what I had in mind. Except holding state is minus. Oh, I got these 2. Yeah, this is what I have. Basically, we're saying there's no restriction on how many, so that's not a problem. I need a problem with restriction. This one just doesn't have restriction on how many transactions you do. My problem is I forgot with cooldown transaction fees. Is it number 2? Maybe number 3? This one's the number of transactions. At most 2 transactions. Oh, hold on. This is at most k transactions. Okay, this is at most 2 transactions. Let's see. At most 2 transactions. Yeah, 2 transactions. All right. So I think hold one. Ah, that's 2 transactions. We can go like say empty 1. Empty 2, empty 1, hold 2, hold 1, empty 1, hold 1, hold 2. That's 2 transactions. Oh, now I see the two transactions. Basically just saying that's so from hold to E, from H to E, and then from E to H. That's two transactions. Or from H to H, H to H, right? I mean, this what we're talking about is the end state, right? So the end state after the first transaction is either H1 or E1, right? And the end state of the second transaction is H2 and E2. That is correct. That makes more sense. Okay, so that's how we do this. Okay, so transactions translates to how many states, how many H and E we're talking about, right? If you have three transactions, then you have the state can be H, H, E, H, E, H, like this. These are the states you'll end up with after all these transactions. So if we have at most two transactions, we saw it's hold, hold. Right? It's like you just list out all the possibilities, right? You list out the possibilities at the end of two transactions. It's going to be H1, H2, E1, and E2, and you get the largest among them, and then we're good. So now what we're talking about is K transactions, which means we're going to have H1, H2, we got H1, E1, H2, E2, right? H3, E3, that's three transactions. H4, E4, that's four transactions, right? So we have to list all of them. So we need to have a loop, right? We need to have a loop. And we have seen also that the starting position, right? Starting at the empty state, when we start, profit is 0. And the holding state, because we have nothing to hold, so the profit is minus infinity. So with that in mind, I think I have alright, let's see. So this is thing max profit. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we have to go through k times, right? So for I don't know, what do we say? Num transactions in range, not enumerate. So 1 to k plus 1, right? That's the number of transactions we can do. And then we're going to have, what we're going to have? We're going to go through price, right? Wait, now let me think. We're going to go through price, and each time, for each price, we can handle for all the states. Like at the current price, right? We can have all these states coming out. Yeah, like all the states will handle this specific price. And then how many states are we talking about? We're talking about num transaction, number of states for H and for E. So we're going to say for P in prices, right? Then we're going to say max profit. So max profit is going to be, now we can keep track of the max profit as we go through. So we're going to say res equals 0, okay? Res is 0. And then shoot. we can use arrays. Okay, so E's and H's, right, equals 0 times num transaction. 0 times num transaction. And of course, we know H as holding state, we set it to minus math.infinite. Right? Then we're gonna go through everything and we say for I in range num transaction and ESI, HSI shall equal to hold. Oh, when we start. So for E1, for E0, right, it's always going to be E by itself. So it's going to be a difference, right? We say if E of I is 0, then this will equal to maximum ESI, because it's just by itself, or just do nothing. Yeah, with the current when we're ending at E, we can do this, or how do we end at E, right? We end at E with do nothing, or we end at E with a transition from H. So it's actually going to be HI minus P, well, plus P. Right? So we sell. Right? We sell to end at this. And for H, it's going to be HSI, which means I do nothing. Or how do we end up at a holding state? Is if we're in an empty state, so it's ESI, right? It's the empty state. Empty state minus P. And we do that. And if I is larger, like this E1, right? What happens to E1? E1 that we're talking about is H0 goes into it, right? So what we can do is because this is like deterministic, right? So ES0 is not going to change because this we set to minus infinity. So this is not going to change. And so we can just set HS0 equal to minus P, right? We can just set this to minus P, and then we go from 1 to number of transactions. Yes, right? Then we can just say this H minus 1, right? Because it's the previous holding state to the current empty state. And this is going to be the previous empty state goes into the current holding state. So that's also minus 1, right? So we go through this, and once we're done, we say res shall equal to maximum res and the maximum of should be empty state. It's not going to be holding state, right? Because holding state, it doesn't make any sense. If you hold something, you should sell it. It makes better profit. So we just say maximum this, right? So for peak price, I actually have to go through the entire thing. Right? This is just the number of transactions. Right? We go through all of them. For each price, we go through all of them. Then we go to the next price. You see the problem. This one should be This one should be. I see the problem here. I think this one shall be on the outside. Oh, how can we go on the outside? Number of transactions. Yeah, this should be on the. It should be here because. Wait, hold on. Let me think again. We have those prices, right? Then we have to go through all of them. And then we have more, then we go, yeah, so this has to be on the outside. Then if they're on the outside, and what do we do? So this one shall equal to minus math, right? Dot infinity, and for each price. So ES0 shall equal to maximum ES0 and HS actually I don't know, what's the starting point? But a starting point, so we don't change the ES0, right? I don't think we should change ES0. And for HS, hold on. Where does this one get? Previous state, but we don't have a previous state when it's 0. I would just read, no, that's not right. For each price, so we have the initial value, and then for each one, hold on, let me think again. Which one? That's the first transaction. Now this is the first transaction. Then we need a previous state. Previous state. Well, now we don't have a previous state, right? We don't have a previous state, which means we always start fresh. That feels like it is starting fresh every single time. Let me check it again. I feel it's starting fresh again. Not 100% sure. Maybe it's not. You see here, right? This is the initial state. Oh, wow. And then, for H1, it's always starting from this. It's always starting from this. For E1, it's always from H1. And E2 get from H2. What? I don't understand. Hold on. So we have empty state 1 and holding state 1. So empty state 1, which in this case is E empty state, right? We have 0, we have this much. And a holding state will have this much, right? And then I'm pretty sure all of this has to be infinite based on what we just saw. Alright, this is all the empty states and all the holding states. And to start, the first empty state, so to reach empty state, we need the holding state to go to empty state, right? So empty state always equal to maximum, the empty state, or the holding state, which is the same holding state, plus P. And a holding state, right? Holding state, because we say holding state goes to empty state. A holding state will get it, cannot, the current empty state, it will sell that go to the next holding state. So the current holding state, if you buy, you go to the current empty state. I still don't understand. That don't make any sense. Why only holding state is getting its value from the previous empty state, but empty state getting its value from the current holding state? Like, how does that work? What is considered a transaction? A buy and a sell, that's a transaction. Oh no! Buy sell is a transaction. That's why it's just, oh, hold on, I misunderstood. Buy on day 4, sell on day 6. Buy on day 7 and sell on day 8. A buy and a sell, that's one transaction. So you buy and a sell, that's one transaction. So you buy, so from E1 to H1, from E to H, and from H to E. That is, you do a circle. That is a transaction. Right? Therefore, we can say sell, right? To sell is to finish the transaction. So yes, so E1 is